guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale, and I'm so excited for the first time to have Dank Ganon, the 150 win global tournament 2.9 Xbow Pro on the channel on voice. We were going to get to the bottom of really how to become an Xbow god, how to really take your game to the next level and then maybe the level above that. But before we start, Dank Ganon, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing great, Ash. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I can't wait to hop into ladder and kind of ask you all about 2.9 Xbow. It's definitely not a new deck by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a deck that it's pretty safe to say that you have mastered. You got to 150 wins with only 3 losses in that global tournament. Just not enough time, huh, to finish out and get those rest of the losses?
Oh yeah, I was pretty tired. I ended at like 2 a.m.
Oh my god, that's insane. Do you feel like you could have gotten like 200? I mean, it gets to be like quite a grind, especially when you're drawing a lot of your matches.
I definitely could have gone for 200, but I was taking breaks in between just to like not only lower the lag, but I mean, I have other things to do as well. So it's like, I don't know. It was like 8 hours long, I think, the entire out of all the matches, it was like 8 hours long.
That is insane. That was my next question. Like, how long does it take to actually get 150 wins? So that's insane. So you put in a full shift of Clash Royale that day. Let me ask you this before we hop into the ladder gameplay, when we can just kind of break down the matches and stuff. You're pretty high on ladder right now, but I kind of wanted to ask you, as somebody who's known as being a 2.9 specialist and certainly achieved the highest level of results playing it, can you look back at yourself maybe 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, and say, okay, this was a turning point for me when playing this deck. This is something that I learned or that I started doing differently that kind of separated myself from other 2.9 Xbow players? Or is there not any moments like that?
I mean, there's not really. I don't really have that many moments of that, really.
Mm-hmm. So what about you versus like another really good 2.9 Xbow player? Like, are there any differences between your gameplay and maybe a guy like Gummy Bear or Air Surfer or players like that? Do you play differently or?
Against like beatdown decks, I prefer to play more passively and I play Teslas in the middle.
Okay, so so when you go into a deck and you know or you suspect the player is playing beatdown, like Golem beatdown, are you going to just go in with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to draw this out? Or do you kind of pick and choose your spots? Or how does your playstyle, change in terms of the defensiveness when depending on what deck you're facing?
It depends on whether they put their tank in the back or they play it aggressively. Mm-hmm. So if they play like a support troop in the back, I just play Tesla. And if they punish with like a giant in the front and then like support troops, I can just counter push like after defending. Or if they put a giant in the back, I just play Xbow opposite lane. I can just get a lot of damage in like single elixir. Okay,
cool. And final question before we jump in is, what do you see, now not talking other pro players, but like you and someone who's just picking up Xbow, or just like an average / bad Xbow user, which I would definitely be. What are like some of maybe the most common mistakes that you see, like whether it be maybe too aggressive, especially with 2.9, or just not using Xbow Tesla in the right way, or maybe the support troops, like any big keys that you've identified?
Oh, okay. So I would say a common thing is that for some reason people just put Xbow and Tesla at the river as like the first starting play, which is something you shouldn't do because you can get punished very easily. Mm-hmm. And also, I wouldn't play Xbow as like the first play because you can also get punished that way. And I think those are the 2 main common mistakes with Xbow.
Sounds good. I'm sure we'll review a bunch of other kind of decisions and strategic moves that you make. So why don't you go ahead and search for a ladder match and we'll get this show on the road here. Is there a difference, I should ask, is there a difference between playing Xbow while you're searching for a match, between Xbow on ladder and Xbow at tournament level standard in one of these global tournaments? Is there anything changing in your play style, or is it relatively the same?
They're relatively the same. I'd say in global tournaments, you face a lot of like average players who necessarily don't play against Xbow like all the time. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I think it's easier to play Xbow in like a tournament standard rather than ladder, because ladder has there's a lot of one tricks, meaning like people that play like one specific deck and they know their deck really well and they know how to play against Xbow. So it's very different.
Yeah, they've practiced that matchup so many times. Are you searching right now, by the way?
Yes, I'm searching.
Okay, we'll edit out and come back at you guys when we find a match. Well, I was just saying as we were kind of editing out there, but if it happens naturally during your gameplay, if you can go over like alternate Xbow placements, like obviously there's the normal defensive Xbow, there's going against Mortar here, and then there's like Xbow offensive, then there's Xbow like in the middle of the river in different times when you would use those in different situations. But I'll let you focus on this first, and feel free to kind of just tell us what's going through your mind right now.
So he committed a pretty big offense. I'm going to try to punish right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my next question was going to be, in a matchup like this, do you prefer, like, how do you decide same lane, opposite lane? Are you always pretty much going opposite lane?
I always go opposite lane against Mortar.
Awesome, and you get that lock on pretty early. Are you at this confident that you feel like you can pretty much draw or win most matchups? Like, do you even make mistakes at this point?
Majority matchups, I can pretty much tie. It's just, I think beatdown is like the hardest to tie, or you can't really tie at all.
Yeah, I gotta ask, those 3 losses, were they all against like a big heavy beatdown deck in the global tournament?
One was lag, one was a bar putt spam deck, one was like a lava mine or lumberjack.
Okay. I assume when you get 150 wins, it almost takes you by surprise when you lose. You're just like, wait, I lost. What is that? So he goes pretty aggressive again. Are you going to go on offense again here?
I'm going to stack Xbows and punish.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so stacking Xbows. Okay, so talk a little bit about stacking Xbows. When is that the right move?
Usually when I'm low in health, I try to do that.
Okay.
And if I have the tower like really low, and it also depends on the deck, by the way. Mm-hmm. But I can just shoot them out with like fireballs or just sit.
Yeah, and he just uses fireball there, so now you're. Okay, so he uses a defensive mortar, and you fireball here. So, are you going to continue doing defensive Xbow? Okay, apparently so. I think I might have lost Dank Ganon on voice.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So Mortar coming down left lane. You're just going to go ahead and Tesla at bridge here. Obviously, that will take care of that Mortar. He's trying to fireball cycle, or gets a lot of fireball damage to you. You're trying to do the same to him. 19 seconds left here. Going into sudden death pretty soon. Is it pretty much standard that you're going to be going into sudden death on a lot, if not most of your matches?
I would say so, yeah.
So patience definitely being a big key here. He's really spamming you hard, all this spam, but you're doing a really good job defensively. Take a little bit more chip damage though on the left side, and here goes. It's pretty noteworthy. This is only actually Dank Ganon's like second or third offensive Xbow the entire match, and it looks like this might be the, I don't want to curse you, but it might be the winning Xbow. Fireball comes down, but even that momentary lock is so valuable there.
Yeah, I can just cycle fireballs now.
Yeah. So is there a magic number that you have where you'll feel comfortable cycling fireballs?
When his towers are like around 600, that's like, you can cycle it very fast.
Okay, especially ladder. What about at tournament level standard? Does that change, like 400? Like basically 2 fireballs?
Yeah, tournament standard, just 2 fireballs.
Okay. Taking some more chip damage, but he's got it under control. One more fireball, and obviously this deck cycles incredibly fast, just as fast as 2.6. And there goes the cycle cards, and fireball's back in hand. Ice Golem to distract, and boom, fireball down. So a Mortar versus Mortar matchup there. I mean, excuse me, a Siege versus Siege matchup there, Xbow versus Mortar. What would you say, and feel free to just hop into the next match too, what would you say are the key takeaways from Xbow versus Mortar? What are you trying to do?
I would say use Tesla on mortars that are played offensively. Mm-hmm. If they play defensive mortars, I would just play defensive Xbows and make it to where they can't fireball the tower that's has lower HP. And then try not to take too much chip damage from like miners and stuff.
Okay. So generally speaking, especially against another Siege deck, it's really a game of mitigating damage, and taking what your opponent gives you, and then spell cycling towards the end. You just don't want to give them the spell cycle advantage. So here we go. Starting out with a tombstone here as the opponent. So it could be Lava Hound, could be Graveyard. We will have to see.
this is looking like graveyard.
Yeah. And now, in a graveyard, do you feel like, on paper, it looks like it would be a relatively easier matchup for you? Do you feel that way, or does it depend on the deck?
In most cases, yes. I feel pretty confident about graveyard.
Okay. So you place the Tesla right there in the middle, and that's what you talked about, that you comparing your playstyle to other Xbow users. You said that you're very, very comfortable placing those kind of mid... oh, Royal Giant. Uh-oh. That just changed for the worse.
This may end up in a draw, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, Royal Giant, obviously incredibly popular card right now. It's not a graveyard deck, unfortunately for you. So, talk about the game plan against Royal Giant in general.
I mean, I always try to, like, not overcommit against RG. I just try to defend or try to tie if possible. Well, I think I can tie, like, no matter what, pretty much.
Okay. So, obviously, tying is going to be... Drawing this out is going to be probably, like, the go-to strategy. However, there's a chance... You never know. You could potentially win. So is it just kind of... I mean, you play an offensive Xbow there. Is it just as easy as playing Xbow as soon as you can when Royal Giant's out of rotation, but leaving yourself enough elixir to defend as well?
Exactly.
Cool.
I think right now I'm in a good position because I can set up another Xbow, and RG's like not even...
Absolutely. So you have Xbow in cycle. You also have Tesla, I think, either in cycle or one card away. So you're going to Xbow Tesla here?
I'm not gonna play Tesla because I prefer to like save that for the RG.
Okay. And again, he's trying to cycle back to his RG. He's one more card away. And yeah, you can see how this is probably going to be a draw. But at least you're going, again, opposite lane here, forcing him to either use his RG on offense or switch it on defense for the Xbow. So talk about that Xbow placement there.
Oh, I thought he had Fireball, but it's just to be good against any Fireballs that he throws down.
Okay. And I noticed some Xbow players, like I noticed when I had Ursurfer on the video, is sometimes he'll place that Xbow, like literally touching that tower, that right there. Is that when they have lightning?
Yeah, that's anti-lightning.
Okay. All right. And if they don't have lightning, no matter the deck, are you ever using that Xbow location, or is that specific for lightning and that's about it?
I can use that sometimes if they have Fireball.
Okay. He just used Royal Giant, so trying to catch him off guard again here. But even with the Tombstone and the Mega Minion and the Ice Wizard, it's going to be difficult to break through here. But that's a nice Fireball, and now he does get a lock on. Royal Giant's there, but again, using the Royal Giant on the opposite lane that he wants to go to. And look at all this damage you're getting. What do you consider a win on an Xbow lock? I'll let you defend here first, but, you know, even if you're getting only a few hundred damage, do you consider that a win in most situations?
Kind of, yes. It's basically chipping them out.
Yeah. So here he has a little bit of time, the opponent that is, a little bit of time to set up, and there it is again, that defensive...
Oh, he missed the tower.
Did he? Oh my god. Okay, so that was a big opening here, potentially, for...
I think I'm gonna try to Fireball him out. I think this might work.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so he's gonna try to Fireball him out here with 1223 HP remaining on the tower. And then he sets up the opposite lane Xbow again, the anti-lightning Xbow. See, that Xbow is so weird to me because is it just basically to do damage against the RG when he crosses?
Yep.
Okay. And he lightning again on your dormant Tesla. He doesn't have lightning in cycle here, so I think that Ganon's going to be able to win this against really... I don't know. Is this what do you think? Like the second most difficult matchup for this deck?
With lightning, I'd say it's difficult.
Yeah, I can't believe that you pulled this off, but it really came down to. I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but once you got that, I'm already calling the match by the way, obviously, but you only need 2 more fireballs, so I think he's got this. But did it come down to him? Well, apart from him missing his lightning, but once you get that one Xbow lock on and you got the damage down to 1200. You just knew you could Fireball cycle out?
Yep, exactly. I think around 1600, and especially against like an RG deck, he can pretty much Fireball cycle.
And there you go. That's how you handle it. And you guys know, obviously, the opponent made some mistakes there, even though this guy's top 200 ladder, so you'd think he would, you know, not make so many lightning mistakes there, but yet he did anyway. But even if he hadn't made those mistakes, obviously you can see just following the strategy that Dank Ganon used there, that he could have easily drawn that out. Now, talk a little bit, as you go into the next match here, talk a little bit about when you lose to whatever, to a Golem matchup, let's just say. Like, what are they doing there? Like, what is a good... I don't want to have you give your opponents tips here, but, you know, if you're comfortable answering, what is somebody... Okay, yeah, what is somebody who beats you? What are they doing differently than someone who you draw against?
With, like, RG, or is it, like, any other...
Well, yeah, I guess with Golem, I guess. Golem or RG, just talk about both of those matchups. Like, what are the keys to success against you?
I think with RG, they just stack it, and they just use cheap troops on the Expo when you play it opposite lane. Okay. And then Golem, they try to overcommit, and they just use Mega Minion on the Expo.
Okay, so to win, they want to just build up a huge push and just use Mega Minion to defend against Expo.
Yeah, pretty much, because you pretty much have to commit a lot of elixir to kill the Mega Minion.
Well, we might have our wish right now. Okay, forget it. It's Lava Hound. It's Lava Hound. So
no, I played this guy earlier, and I think he's using it's the Splash Loon deck. This is actually not like easy to win.
Oh,
so.
The bowler one.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting as well. So this is another matchup. I'm glad we're getting this nice diverse matchups here. Thank you, Clash Royale. This is a tough one though. So what are you gonna have to do here? How do you get around that bowler? And Lumberjack, and Inferno Dragon, and Baby Dragon.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Yeah, right? And the balloon. So this expo, for example, do you consider this a good value expo? I mean, you got a big lock on there, and you take care of the balloon.
I think it's a decent trade.
Mm-hmm. And you distract. That was a perfect placement. It seems like placements are so crucial to having success with this deck, like knowing what tile to put every single, you know, hidden Tesla on to make sure you're aggroing where you want to, and Expo and everything like that.
Yeah, I think placements are key, especially for, like, I think Tesla and Expo.
Yeah. Now, are you ever setting up with, like, high Teslas, like maybe in the middle of the river, or like in the middle of your side of the arena at the river, like as a preemptive play to set up an Expo? I'll let you deal with this first.
Towards the middle, but, like, I think I put it, like, 3 tiles. But I try not to play it, like, too far up, otherwise they can just, like...
Okay, so just like that, basically?
Yep.
Perfect. A nice fireball value. You're going to be able to defend that balloon just fine. You can see how much value he's getting, guys, out of all of his cycle cards. It feels like you never waste an Ice Spirit or Skeletons for no reason, you know?
Yeah. Kind of sucks how I didn't get the offense through.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, like, why did you decide to switch lanes there? Just because you felt like you had the opening?
Yeah.
Obviously, I guess, right?
Yeah. This may end up in a draw.
Yeah. And you can see, like, the mentality that you have to have. You just have to have a certain level of patience to play Expo decks with a high level of success.
Now, here I use an Expo like this because I played this Tesla in this position. So that's, I mean, you have to play it like that. Otherwise, he just takes your tower.
True. Man, I thought you could avoid that blast. But you can see this is probably going to be a draw unless he makes some big mistakes. But I love that kind of chain Expo to the Tesla. I think that bad players such as myself would have definitely not done that. So Freeze comes down here.
Oh, I thought that Spirit would have got the Lumberjack.
He's going to balloon. Can cycle back to that Tesla. You have Fireball in hand. Decide to use it. And again, nice defense, but how are you ever going to break through here?
Yeah, this is probably going to end up in the draw, so...
Yeah, so in a matchup like this, obviously a very difficult matchup for Expo, and it feels like half the matchups in the game right now are really difficult for Expo. So at this point in the match, are you content to draw? Like, are you even going to waste your time going super, you know, trying to be aggressive? Or is that important, like, offense, defense through offense at certain times?
If he bowlers, I will, like, if he bowlers opposite lane, okay. I would go opposite lane myself and try to...
But other than that, you're just kind of picking and choosing. So there it is, bowler opposite lane. You're going to Tesla.
I didn't realize he played bowler.
Okay. And that's to pull Balloon again. So that's like the go-to defensive setup right there for Balloon. And that's kind of like, again, just kind of illustrating the nuances of how you have to know like the perfect setup for every single matchup. And you pull that balloon around. Ooh, the freeze comes down, but nice Ice Spirit. Gonna mitigate any hits.
Okay,
Oh!
Yeah, I don't want to take too much damage.
Whew! I was worried there for a second. Okay. 1 minute left, and this guy is, you can tell he's being aggressive right now. He wants it. Ice Spirit value, again, coming in huge. Fireball coming down, and, ooh, I thought he was might freeze there. But he doesn't waste the freeze. I wanted to ask, what do you think about like Xbow and about other versions of Xbow? Did you play those?
It's not really my type of style. I mean, I think it's interesting and I think it's fun, but it's just, I think it's different from regular.
Yeah. And here it looks like you're going to be able to pull this balloon over. That allows you to just go ahead and fireball. He already uses freeze.
This is gonna, I can draw from this point.
Good draw, I would say. Even that draw, it felt like you had to work for it. Did you find that challenging, or to you it was just like, yeah, no big deal?
Yeah, it actually takes a lot of effort to just draw this matchup.
Yeah, to me it's just like, oh, so many times I've been like, whoa, he's gonna lose, but he doesn't. So, and with 5 seconds,
you just gotta stay focused. I think that's another thing with Xbow. You have to pretty much be focused. Like, you can't really, be distracted.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of patience as well. That's another thing.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. Want to do one more?
Yeah, I think we'll do one more, and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I think that, like, even though some of these 6-minute draws can be, I feel like 2.9 Xbow is a tough archetype to kind of master, because in a lot of ways it's, like, kind of boring, It just, at least to me. To you, does it feel that way, or to you, does it just never feel boring?
When I was playing the global tournament, it really felt stale.
Yeah, right?
And I think I spent I had 13 draws, and that equated to like an hour and 18 minutes, pretty much wasted.
I gotta ask, now that you mention it, now that you mentioned that global tourney, it wasn't that global tournament, but it was the tournament before that, when I think you changed your clan name to something like CR Sucks or something like that. And
yeah, that was being salty.
Yeah, I saw that.
I apologize for that. You know what? I think it was a little bit toxic. Or actually, it wasn't even a little bit. It was very toxic. So.
Oh, dude, I wasn't trying to confront you about it. I was actually going to ask what you thought about what was going through your mind when you made that. Was it something like you were unhappy with in the meta or something? But
yeah, I think it was. I think it was the bar barrel pre-nerf. I think it was just salt. Really, that's pretty much why I did.
Well, I loved that Clash Royale give you a shout out. Did you see that? I'm sure you saw it, right?
Yeah, they didn't tag me though. I wish they tagged me, but I don't know. I think that would have been too toxic.
Yeah, they were like, for those of you who don't know, Clash Royale sent out a tweet congratulating. I forgot who won that tournament, but somebody, I forgot who won it. I
don't remember either.
I think it might have been Ivan or something. I don't know. But either way, they were like, and by the way, thanks Dank Ganon for his CR Sucks or whatever. But anyway, it's gonna be a very weird deck. It's giant. Is it Sparky? Right? Maybe. I don't know.
His giant bats fireball. I've not seen anything like.
I know, right? But the fact that he has bats and Skarmy, it's got to be Sparky. Or it could be Goblin Barrel Sparky. I have no idea. But this is gonna be weird.
This could be giant lunar, a giant Sparky. I think this is what this looks like, or great.
So he zaps cycles there. So against a deck where you have no idea what they're playing, which is something that my viewers are all too familiar with because they're mid-ladder, a lot of them, is Sparky. So man, okay.
It's fine to just play this Xbow, by the way. So if he plays Bats or something like that, it's fine.
And you called it. You're going to displace that Ice Spirit there. One annoying bat is gonna, or two annoying bats is gonna get to the tower, but still.
Yeah, but
beautiful value skeletons there. So is that kind of gonna be your strategy here when he drops that Sparky in back, or a giant in back for that matter? You're just gonna hit opposite lane and keep supporting or whatever until he doesn't have enough elixir to mount a huge push.
That's the plan.
Okay. So now that was an interesting giant. Do you think he should play that opposite lane, or do you like that strategy?
I think what he wants to do is fireball. He's gonna fireball my Xbow.
Okay. Yep. Good call. He's clearly a better player than I. Ooh,
Yeah, I think he was gonna zap, so I played Knife Spirit instead.
nice call there. Oh my god. Just like, I mean, these are a lot of these plays that Dank Ganon is making, guys. It's like, they don't look incredibly sexy, but man, do they just take precision, like one screw up, and you're kind of screwed. So here we go. It's going to be like again, kind of stacking up the Xbow and the Tesla right there, and it allows him to take care of that Sparky. Now we got to deal with the minion horde, but again, that just the psychability of this deck, and he goes in with the Xbow there opposite lane. Tesla's there, so he's stacking the 2 Xbows, forcing another fireball out of the opponent, and you could potentially, you do get a lock there.
Okay, this might be a lot of damage.
So he zaps. You're kind of splitting your damage. He's done a decent amount of damage to your right tower, and so are you trying to bait out a fireball in those archers?
Not exactly. I'm
You
just
know he was
putting
not
them
going to
back
take
as
it. Yeah. So a big push like this. You do have Fireball in hand, but boy is it, he is absolutely going super aggressive here. You have Ice Golem, Fireball comes down on the Sparky, his Skeleton's back in cycle if he needs it. Oh,
well,
man.
Rip.
No!
That's game over.
Man, that was so close. I mean, Sparky, yeah.
I thought the tower was going to kill it, and it still locked the minion.
Yeah, that was like in slow motion there, but either way, it was, you can kind of see at least the formulaic wise, like what you were trying to do there. It was probably going to be a draw had that Sparky
I think if I could have gotten like damage in single elixir, I think I would have been able to just defend in fireball cycle, because his offense is not really like the most, because it's a lot of bait troops and then just Sparky John.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what? I think that they were really good games, and I really love that, again, that we had like a nice variety of archetypes to give my viewers a sense. And you were definitely a wealth of knowledge, and I love that we talked a lot about like the defensive expos and the setups and stuff like that. I meant to ask you earlier if there's any like shout outs or anything like that you want to give before we let you go, man.
I wanted to shout out Silent. It's an amazing Discord server, and shout out to the Goats. Great.
All right, shout out to the Goats clan and to Silent Discord server. Ganon, thanks so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Check out Dank Ganon's social media and his player stats and profile thanks to statsroyale.com. All of that will be in the show notes below. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.